Tawanda says, like, I can't put myself like in a win-lose situation. Like she would say, like I would lose. I would end up just taking a lose because like say if I'm in a business or any scenarios, I would never put someone's like position, like whether like they're not going to be able to get the benefit of like what I'm doing, because whatever I do, I want to make sure it's beneficial for both parties. Because for me, like I feel like, for example, it would kind of be like this. Like just think about it this way. Like say if I'm hosting like a show or anything, and I just get like, yeah, I do want the support from my other girlfriends, like my peers, but I don't want them to be like coming on the show because I need them. I want them to be on the show because it's beneficial for them to get information. And so the thing is like I'm not the type of person that likes to use people just for me to get a step against everyone else. So in a way, like I try, like my goal, if anything, is to make sure that like whatever situation I'm in, all parties win. Because I like fairness, and if anything, like for example, like whatever situation it is, like I can scratch someone's back and they can scratch mine, and it works together like in good terms versus like, oh, I need you to do this because it's only beneficial for me, you know?
Okay. Yeah, and I understand that. And like Tawanda, that is respectable as well. And the best option, and the best option is to create a win-win situation. Because when you create a win-loss situation, one person appears to get what they want for the moment, but the results will negatively impact the relationship between those two people going forward. The win-win situation, it is important to use that as a backup, or another interaction is a no deal. So when we have a no deal as an option in our mind, it liberates us from needing to manipulate people and push out our own agenda. And that way we can be open to what really trying to really understand the underlying issue. So we're going to now move on to the next step, which is to seek first to understand, then to be understood. So let's say that you go to a doctor and you tell them that you've been having trouble seeing clearly. So they take off your glasses and they hand them to you and they say, here, try these. They've been working for me for years. You put them on, but they only make your problem worse. What are the chances that you will go back to that doctor? You wouldn't, because he's obviously is not even testing you to figure out what your issue is. So that is what meant by seek first to understand, then to be understood. So in that scenario, do you believe that you have built up a skill of empathetic listening, or do you think that you basically try to react first? And let me ask you that, Tawanda. Do you think that you're an empathetic listener?
Gosh, absolutely. And with emphasis on listening, I learned a long time ago that listening is an extremely important skill that a lot of people just really don't have. So, yeah, when you talk about seeking first to understand and then to be understood, absolutely, because sometimes I think it's Zig Ziglar that says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Yeah, I care. So, yeah, absolutely. I want to listen and I want to actually understand.
And I've never heard that saying before, but I do like that. Can you say it one more time?
I'll send it to you. It's something I've always used because, you know, a lot of times when he says people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, a lot of people think that people are impressed by trappings of success. Oh, I have a master's degree and I have a doctorate and I have this and I have that. Well, do you care about people? You understand what I'm saying? Because none of that really even matters. So, yeah, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you actually care.
Exactly. And I completely agree with you with that. And thank you for sharing that quote with the audience as well.
Thank you for letting me share.
Of course. And let me ask you the same thing, Amanda. Do you think you're an empathetic listener?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I wouldn't have 9 years in mental health if I wasn't.
Okay. That's good. And what ways do you think you're an empathetic listener?
Well, I'm definitely an empath, so I can feel like people's emotions and like energies and stuff. And I don't know. I'm curious about people, so I ask questions, and I don't know. I just find people in general super fascinating, and I think everybody has a story and has strengths, and so I'm always like curious as to like who they are and what their strengths are and what their story is.
Okay, and that's definitely characteristics of being an empathetic listener. And let me ask you the same thing, Kat. Do you believe you're an empathetic listener?
Oh, yes, 110%. And the reason why I do say that is because I wasn't always an empathetic listener. Usually, like, say if I hear bad news, like, I guess my younger Kat, her reflex would be like, oh my gosh, what? Are you serious? This is BS. Or I need to do this already. But like, as I grew older, I realized sometimes you just need to listen to this, whatever situation you're in. And maybe, like you have your what's the word? The fact that like you gave it a chance of listening and taking time to try and acknowledge it, maybe there's a better way of approaching whatever situation it is versus like reacting to it. Because I realize like when I react to things off of the bat, I not only do I leave whoever I'm dealing with, like unhappy. I also leave myself unhappy, like at first, especially like when I already assume, okay, this is gonna be bad. Like, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. Like, or this person's wrong. And so I believe like sometimes it's better to listen and see what the options are versus like reacting it right away.
Okay. Yes, definitely. And to listen empathetically, it requires a fundamental mind shift. So we typically seek first to be understood. Most people, they actually listen with intent to reply. So they actually are listening just to look to reply to the person, and actually they're not really understanding what that person is saying. So at any given moment, they're either speaking or preparing to speak, and not actually actively listening. So communication experts, they estimate that 10% of communication is represented by words. 30% is represented by our sound, and 60% is represented by our body language. So it is important for you to be mindful when someone is speaking, and not just be quick to, speak. And you should be actively listening so that you could be a true empathetic listener. Okay, so we're going to move on to 6, which is synergize. But before we move on to number 6, we're going to take a quick intermission, and we'll be back.
Hello, everyone. The trending topic for today is a stunning vote by the U.S. Supreme Court. Today, the court ruled 6-3, making the decision that employers cannot fire employees for their sexual orientation. This decision was written by Trump's very own first appointee, Neil Gorsuch. This decision is sure to fire up both sides of the political debate in the days to come. Now, back to your regularly scheduled program.
And that was the lovely Kay. I'm not sure if she's still on the line. Kay, you still there? Okay, and I don't think that she's there, but that is fine. So we're going to move on to synergy. And synergy, it actually allows us to create new alternatives and open new possibilities. So by understanding the value and valuing the difference in another person's perspective, we have the opportunity to create synergy. And through that, again, will be the possibilities to create creativity, and that's going to be through openness. So let me ask you this, Kat. Do you believe that you are open to change? So are you able to ditch your old ideas to create new ones?
So did you just say, like, am I willing to ditch my old ideas to create new ones? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yes. So you're the type of person that you can easily adapt change. So are you someone that can easily ditch whatever you were doing previously to create new habits or create a new way of doing what you were previously doing?
No, absolutely. So I'm a firm believer of, obviously, like, trial and error. And so if something's not working out and there's always, like, a better option for me, like, whether it's, like, it'll get me it's a faster way of accomplishing a situation, or if it's much more beneficial for me and the other party, absolutely. Like, I'm willing to change. But the only thing is, like, of course, I need to see background. Like, I need to see how is this going to be beneficial for both of us. Like, I'm not always going to just switch to a change, like, right away. But I don't mean, like, right away, like the second. But I just need to see, like, good proof, or I need to be able to, like, what's the word? I can evaluate and know. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a better approach versus what I was trying to do all this time, you know. And so I'm definitely open to adoption, and I think adoption is good.
It is. It helps you grow as a person as well. And let me ask you this, Amanda, the same question. So do you believe that you're someone that can get rid of your old way of doing things, or do you believe that that you're not able to easily adapt with change?
Well, I have a little bit of a hard time with change in the, like, initial part. But once I get over kind of, like, the shock and the, like, grief, then, like, I feel like the only way to, like, grow as a person is to be adaptable. But before I'm adaptable, I will kick and scream first, and then I'll be adaptable.
Okay, because you realize at the end that it was for your own good.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's fair. Some of us doesn't adapt to change as easily as others, and that's fine. As long as you realize that about yourself and you're willing to at least put in the effort to do so. And let me ask you the same thing, Tawanda. Do you believe that you're someone that can easily adapt to change?
I really want to get to what Amanda said, because we know that two things that's guaranteed in life, that's change and more change. So I embrace it. However, sometimes there is a struggle. And like she said, you got to kick and scream sometime. But if I'm kicking and screaming, I'm still going to be moving forward, because I know and understand that change is necessary for growth. So yes, ma'am.
Yes. It definitely is. It is extremely important that you that you are open to change, because we have to be able to leave our comfort zone, and that's the only way that you're going to be able to change. By leaving your comfort zone. And it is important to do that so that we can all evolve as humans. So definitely it is important. So we're going to move on to the last skill, which is sharpening the saw. So to be effective, you must devote the time to renewing yourself physically, spiritually, mentally, and socially. So you want to continuously be renewing all of those different areas so that you can increase your ability and your habit in each area. So let me ask you this, Kat. Do you believe that you are effectively at this moment doing that? Are you effectively working on any one of those areas, and if so, which one? So the areas were physically, spiritually, and socially. Kat, are you still there? Okay, I'm going to ask Tawanda this question. So you believe that you are working on upgrading yourself physically, spiritually, mentally, or socially?
All of the above. Personal development is my life. And just like you said with 7 Habits about sharpening the sword, I believe that iron sharpens iron. So you have to be able to feed your mind daily, get positivity in different areas. Now, I'm still a work in progress in all of the areas. However, I am aware that I need to do it. I do make progress